Golden State Warriors fans, pay attention because things are getting very interesting in the Bay Area. After weeks of rumors and speculation, the situation around Jonathan Kuminga and the Warriors is once again the main storyline, and it's not all sunshine and rainbows. Even though he recently signed a 2-year deal, sources close to the team say the relationship between Kuminga and the front office remains tense. It's been only a week, so that's not entirely shocking. Feelings are still raw, egos are bruised, and it's natural that some friction lingers after a complicated negotiation process. But for Kuminga, this is a crucial moment. If he really wants to prove he deserves a bigger role and a long-term future in Golden State, it's time to let his game do the talking. The good news is that Kuminga started the preseason strong. His debut looked sharp, confident drives, good energy on defense, and flashes of the athleticism that made the Warriors draft him so high in the first place. But as any true fan knows, preseason games don't count for much. The real challenge begins when the lights are bright and the regular season tips off. This Wednesday against the Trail Blazers, Kuminga has a golden opportunity. Portland's roster isn't exactly stacked with defensive juggernauts. So if Kuminga wants to make a statement, this is the game. He needs to come out aggressive, attack the rim, and show Coach Kerr that he's ready for a consistent 25-point kind of performance. Not because of the box score, but to send a message. He's ready to be trusted with real responsibility. Now, if he performs well and still finds himself buried in the rotation or stuck in a role that limits his growth, that's when the frustration might boil over again. And that's where the tension between player and team could deepen. But from the Warriors' perspective, they have to think long-term. Kuminga's talent is undeniable, but his fit has always been a puzzle. Is he part of the next core alongside Curry, Thompson, and Green as they wind down their primes? Or is he an asset to be moved for a piece that helps right now? That's the million-dollar question, and the answer might start to reveal itself by mid-season. The date everyone's circling is January 15th, when Kuminga becomes trade eligible. From that point on, the countdown begins. Either he solidifies his place as part of the Warriors' next chapter, or he becomes one of the league's most talked-about trade chips. And there are already plenty of suitors watching closely. Miami, Chicago, Sacramento, Phoenix, each team has reasons to make a call if Kuminga becomes available. The Warriors have been asking for a legitimate starter and a first-round pick in return, which sounds steep, but considering his potential, that price might not be as crazy as it looks. Let's look at it from both angles. If Kuminga struggles early, maybe deals with injuries, or just fails to expand his game beyond isolation, scoring, and rebounding, his market value drops. Teams might hesitate, and the Warriors could find themselves forced to accept less than they want. But if he comes out of the gate hot, averaging solid numbers, and proving he can be more than a slasher, the trade conversations will explode. A strong start could actually make him more likely to be traded, because it would raise his value at the exact time the Warriors are assessing what they need most. And right now, that's clearly size and rebounding. That's why Sacramento keeps coming up in rumors. If the Kings struggle and start slipping down the standings, they might consider shaking things up. A player like Domantas Sabonis could theoretically be in play, especially if he doesn't commit long-term. It's a long shot, sure, but imagine a front court of Sabonis and Draymond Green. The Warriors would instantly transform their offensive flow, gaining a skilled passing big man who fits perfectly in their motion-heavy system. For the Kings, getting a younger, athletic forward like Kuminga could help them reset without fully rebuilding. It's the kind of swap that makes both sides at least stop and think. Then there's Phoenix. Over the summer, there was talk of a potential deal, but it never got close to happening. Still, with the Suns looking for ways to balance their roster depth, it wouldn't be surprising if they revisited those talks later in the season. Golden State could use a package that adds depth and shooting, something like Royce O'Neal, Nick Richards, maybe even Grayson Allen for spacing. The problem is the Warriors don't need another small guard. They've already got Curry, Paul, and Peyton in the mix. That kind of logjam doesn't win championships. We've seen that movie before back in the days when Monta Ellis and Steph Curry couldn't coexist in the same backcourt. The team learned its lesson the hard way, and history tends to repeat itself if you ignore it. Chicago, on the other hand, might be the most realistic destination. They've got several expiring contracts and might be willing to part with a first-round pick for a young, athletic player who fits their timeline. It could be someone like Nikola Vucevic or even Zach LaVine if the Bulls decide to reset. For Golden State, adding a skilled big man who can score and rebound makes a ton of sense. Pair that with a pick, and suddenly both sides walk away satisfied. The Bulls clear some salary, and the Warriors add a piece that fits their win-now mentality. The Miami Heat are a wild card. On paper, Kuminga fits their gritty, athletic style, but culture is everything in Miami, and Pat Riley runs a tight ship. If there's even a hint that Kuminga might clash with that structure, the Heat will stay far away. They've seen what happens when talented players don't buy into the Heat way. It's Riley's rules or the door. And while Kuminga has the potential to thrive there, it could also be a short-lived experiment, one of those one-season rentals that ends quietly after the postseason. All this trade talk overshadows another key storyline, the Warriors' need for a real center rotation. Right now, the plan seems to revolve around veteran Al Horford and the young prospect Quentin Post. And while Horford brings leadership and experience, he can't play 30 minutes a night anymore. Post has shown flashes, but he's raw. He needs game time, not bench time. The more minutes he gets, the faster he'll grow. The team's coaches are already considering giving him at least 20 minutes per game in the preseason to test his readiness for a bigger role. You can't develop a big man by watching. You have to throw him into the fire and let him figure it out. What's intriguing is how well Post and Horford worked together on the floor. When both were on court, the spacing looked cleaner, the offense more fluid. They're both stretch bigs capable of hitting threes, which opens the lane for Curry and allows the Warriors' classic motion offense to shine again. It's not hard to imagine Kerr experimenting more with those two in tandem, especially since Draymond Green is no longer the defensive force he once was. He's still the emotional leader, but at 35, he can't be the small ball center every night. Against younger, athletic bigs like DeAndre Ayton, the mismatch becomes obvious. Post, for all his inexperience, at least brings height and mobility. He'll make mistakes, sure, but the more he plays, the better he'll get. The Warriors have been trying to find that balance, staying competitive now while slowly building the bridge to their future. Kuminga, Moody, and Post represent that next generation, but for them to truly take over, they need trust and minutes. And that's where Steve Kerr faces his biggest challenge this season: managing expectations, egos, and development without disrupting the team's chemistry. If he gets it right, Golden State could quietly build another contender around a mix of seasoned vets and hungry young players. But if he gets it wrong, if the tension with Kuminga festers, if the rotation stays too crowded, this could be the last dance for the dynasty as we know it. Everything begins with how this team performs once the regular season starts. The preseason is just the warm-up. What happens over the next few months will shape not just Kuminga's future, but the Warriors' entire direction. Will he prove he's the next face of the franchise, or will he become the centerpiece of a blockbuster trade by mid-season? The stage is set, the rumors are swirling, and all eyes are on the Bay as the Warriors prepare for what could be one of their most defining seasons in years. As the Warriors gear up for the regular season, all eyes are not just on Jonathan Kuminga, but on how this team will evolve under the pressure of expectations. The last few seasons have shown that the dynasty isn't dead, but it's definitely living on borrowed time. Stephen Curry is still playing at an elite level, but he's not getting any younger. Klay Thompson is fighting to regain consistency, and Draymond Green, though still the emotional heartbeat of this franchise, doesn't have the same physical edge he once did. The clock is ticking, and every decision the front office makes between now and February could determine whether this group has one more Real run left in them or if they finally need to pass the torch to a younger core. That's why the development of the new faces, especially Quentin Post, has become so important. Against Portland, he's expected to log heavy minutes, and it's not just about scoring or rebounding. It's about finding rhythm and confidence. You can see flashes of something there, a mix of size, mobility, and shooting touch that fits perfectly with the modern Warriors system. What the coaches are trying to see is whether Post can handle the defensive reads, whether he can communicate and rotate in the fast-paced schemes that define Kerr's philosophy. Because when the regular season starts, mistakes that go unnoticed in October become costly in November and December. Al Horford's presence is a blessing in disguise for Post. Having a veteran like Horford next to him, a player who understands spacing, tempo, and leadership, can accelerate his learning curve. The two together on the court create a different look for the Warriors, less about small ball chaos and more about balance and structure. When Horford plays the four and Post anchors the paint, the Warriors gain the kind of versatility they've lacked since Kevin Durant left. It spreads the floor for Curry. It lets Draymond operate as a facilitator on the wing, and it gives Klay the off-ball freedom he thrives on. It's a look that could surprise a lot of teams once the games start to matter. But make no mistake, this roster is far from complete. Even if Post takes a step forward, the Warriors know they still need more interior strength. That's where the trade talks surrounding Kuminga become even more strategic. It's not just about whether he stays or goes. It's about what kind of piece the Warriors can bring back if they decide to move him. They're not looking for another scorer. They need a reliable big who can defend, rebound, and stretch the floor just enough to fit their style. Someone like Domantas Sabonis or Nikola Vucevic would check those boxes. The front office isn't going to rush a decision, but by mid-season, if the chemistry still feels off or the bench depth continues to be inconsistent, a trade might be inevitable. Meanwhile, Moses Moody and Buddy Hield find themselves in uncertain positions. Moody has shown flashes of being a solid two-way player, but he still struggles to assert himself when surrounded by veterans. His defense is solid, his shooting has potential, but he hasn't yet shown the aggression the Warriors need from their young wings. Hield, on the other hand, is in a completely different situation. He was brought in to do one thing, shoot, and when his shot isn't falling, his value drops fast. The coaching staff loves his work ethic, but the truth is the Warriors don't have room for specialists who can't contribute in multiple ways. If his inconsistency continues through the preseason, his name could quickly become part of those trade discussions alongside Kuminga. And then there's the chemistry factor. It's easy to forget that this team has been through a lot internally, from the Draymond Poole drama to questions about leadership and locker room unity. Kerr and Curry have done everything they can to stabilize the culture, but tension doesn't disappear overnight. Kuminga's situation only adds another layer. If he channels his frustration into production, everything smooths over naturally. But if he starts showing visible signs of disengagement or frustration, the front office won't hesitate to explore trade options. They've been here before. They know how quickly a bad vibe can derail a season. Before we continue, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any exclusive Dubs updates. Let's keep going. In a move that could send shockwaves across the NBA, whispers around the league suggest that Jerami Grant is on the verge of signing with the Golden State Warriors. While nothing has been officially confirmed, sources close to the situation are fueling speculation that the versatile forward could be the missing piece the Warriors have been seeking to bolster their wings. Grant, known for his athleticism, defensive prowess, and ability to stretch the floor, would bring a new dimension to a Warriors squad already loaded with perimeter firepower. With Steph Curry and Klay Thompson continuing to anchor the backcourt, adding Grant's length and scoring versatility could make Golden State nearly unstoppable on the wings. The buzz is that the front office has been quietly negotiating, looking to add a player who can switch seamlessly on defense while providing consistent scoring when the team needs it most. League insiders are already imagining the possibilities. Curry driving and kicking out to Grant for open threes, or Grant locking down some of the league's most dynamic forwards in crucial playoff matchups. The rumor mill hints that this move could be a signal of Golden State's intent to remain a championship contender, addressing both depth and defensive flexibility in one swoop. Of course, with rumors circulating, fans are already taking to social media, debating how Grant would fit alongside Draymond Green and the rest of the roster. Could he take on some of the small ball forward responsibilities, or even serve as a primary option in late-game situations? Analysts speculate that his presence could allow the Warriors to experiment with multiple lineups that combine shooting, defense, and transition speed, a trifecta that has historically spelled trouble for opposing teams. While the deal is still technically unconfirmed, the excitement is palpable. If the whispers prove true, Jerami Grant joining Golden State could be one of the most talked-about offseason moves, reshaping the team's identity and sending the league into a frenzy of speculation. Fans and pundits alike will be watching closely, eager to see if this rumor transforms into reality and how the Warriors' wings will look in the next season. Stay updated exclusively with the latest Dub Nation news. Subscribe to our channel and hit the like button to keep getting daily updates on the Warriors. Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments. Your input is essential for the Dubs community. Stay tuned for the next video.